Hi, I'm Peggy with Headshots by Peggy Presents, and today I'm here with Merrick McCartha. So we're going to talk about getting into the industry today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I run into a lot of actors who feel like they already are too late in the game to start. And I think maybe a lot of people have this idea also that you need to start really early in your career to really be in any way successful.
Right, if they weren't a child actor or they weren't, started right after high school, they think, oh, well, it's too late for me. I'm already 30, 40, 50, 60. But you actually had a career before you became an actor.
Exactly. I mean, imagine if you wanted to start photography at the wonderful age you are now. Would you feel like, oh, I'm too late to start photography?
I guess you gave me an example that I can't even because I've done that my whole life since childhood. So
sure.
I think that, but if like, I feel like at this age, it would be weird for me to become like a lawyer or something. That would be a hard leap for me because I would think of all the struggles and everybody would be ahead of me in the game. But acting, it's not necessarily that way. I mean, yeah, it takes time. It takes time for everyone to break through, but
that's a great point. I don't think they're really this mindset about, like you said, everyone's ahead of me in the game. That's a common misconception about getting into acting too. I don't think that's true for lawyers either. I think I could start a law school.
I know you could.
But I really just want people to understand that the way the industry works is not like that era that you mythologize about, where you've got to be young and pretty or handsome to be an actor. That's not how this industry works.
And like, you had like a full-on career. You were an electrical engineer. You worked your dream job. You worked in the space industry. How do you say that? I don't even know it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Aerospace industry.
I was a digital design engineer for a satellite company, so I designed computers for satellite programs. And I've met a lot of actors who had a career, a life, full on. They retired from career before they got into acting. So it's not as uncommon as you might think.
But it could actually, you could reframe that and put it into the mindset that it's actually a positive, because as an actor, you pull on all of your past experiences and you've lived life. A lot of, when you start off, and all you do as an actor, as a person, is acting. Like, straight out of school, you go, straight into an art school and you theater, and you never really do anything else. Then you have less experience, and not that you don't have enough, because we've all lived enough life, probably by the time we turn 16, to have these experiences. But these are more specific experiences and more things to draw on. Would you say that was
absolutely? I think you hit right on the nail on the head there. It is, you have a wider variety of things to draw on for your craft as an actor. So one thing you learn about acting is about being truthful within yourself, drawing a truthful experience, a moment, a feeling that you have, and bringing that out and showing the audience. So the more of those points of access you have to draw on, that gives you a lot more versatility, a lot more strength as an actor. So look at your life starting later in life as a point of strength that you're coming in from, that a lot of new actors really don't have. So keep that in mind. And I think the industry looks for people that can be relatable, that can be truthful, that can be, sort of emotionally deep in a way. So feel like you can use your age as your strength, not as something that might be a disadvantage. Because the young, pretty thing, and even if you're a young actor thinking of watching this and thinking your plans to come to LA or Hollywood, and because you're young and pretty or handsome, is that's how you're going to make it, and that's all you got? you want to cool your jets. Because LA's full of young and pretty people, full. So please understand that that is not your, if that's all you got, that's not your ticket. So please don't make that mistake.
But young and pretty people can make it in the business. They just also need the talent. They need the training. They need the discipline. They need the understanding, and I think a lot of it is realistic expectations. It's just so uncommon to like just get here and make it, just like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. I'm going to quit my job. I don't know how I'm going to become an actor. And next month, that's how I'm going to pay all of my bills, is with my acting money. That is probably pretty really unrealistic. It's probably not going to help. How long would you say that once you quit, you stopped your career? How long until you actually lived off of acting?
Great segue, honey. Sorry, Peggy. What you want to think about, firstly, again, follow your dream. Whether young or old, follow your dream. No one's trying to discourage you from that. Just have a certain understanding of what that's going to take. So typically for an actor, as has been for me, you want to give yourself a good 10 years of work, 10 years before you start having this expectation of any, modicum of success in the industry. And understand that it doesn't mean 10 years of in anguish. You're not 10 years of doldrums. It's 10 years of growing and learning as an actor, which is an amazing, wonderful experience. I still cherish those first 10 years for myself. So that's not a bad thing to have those 10 years. Realize that as far as your expectations, don't come in and expect to be hugely successful within 10 years. Give yourself, come with that mindset at least. It can happen, absolutely. But I don't want you to burn out as an actor because you have this expectation that within a year, 2 years, 5 years, that you're going to be, on a network show or in a major film with Brad Pitt or something like that. Just it'll save you a lot of heartache mentally, having that kind of mindset. So.
Yeah, and I think it's not a magic formula. 10 years isn't like, okay, well, if I can just do the 10 years, it may be 5 years, it may be 3 years. You don't know. It may be 15. You may never get your huge break. There are tons of people that are in this industry because they love this industry and they've never made their big dream break, but they do tons of industrials. They do tons of commercials. They do tons of student films. They do tons of, indie projects, and they love what they do and they're good at it. And there's nothing at all wrong with that.
Right.
But just come in with a realistic expectation and understand that you're still going to need to eat food and sleep in some sort of a shelter with a roof over your head. And you probably need a car because cars are a thing out here. So, keep these kind of things in mind as you are starting out. And so that's also another benefit of deciding to turn to acting later on in life, because maybe you already have a little bit in a savings, or you already have some investment funds, or you have some things that you can kind of financially rely on, and then just kind of tighten up the belt a little bit and get through it. So there's all those things to think about. So really we're not trying to discourage anyone at all. In fact, we're saying use all of these things as experience, and use every hurdle in your acting career as a jumping platform, that use it to your advantage. If you have an obstacle, acknowledge it's an obstacle and get over it, and then realize that you're on the other side of that obstacle, and you have that experience now, and you have that knowledge now, and you have that talent in all of those things. So I think all of those things are beneficial in the industry. And I've also had, I work with actors all the time. And so many times people come here and they're like, oh, I want to be a famous actor. And they're like, oh my gosh, I really like directing. And and that happens at every age, every stage of the game. So, you love this, do what you love, but don't put yourself in a box. Just go out and have fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, those things that you're bringing in, if you're in a later part of your age, realize that you're not going to be a part of that group of actors that really, you may not be, rather, part of that group of actors really has a struggle to make it. You had a career, you have a savings, you have a retirement, you have a 401k that's sustaining you, and this is something that you want to go for now. That's great. It gives you a lot more confidence, a lot less anxiety, a lot less desperation, and it allows you to explore a bit freer in your career as you learn as an actor. So this idea of success, let me make sure I'm clear on that. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a celebrity. In fact, being an actor doesn't mean being a celebrity, and vice versa. Being a celebrity doesn't mean you're an actor. Clearly, doesn't take you don't have to have a acting skill to be a celebrity. You want to be an actor. An actor is about an art form, a craft, a passion that you have that you want to perform. You want to present. You want to
Tell stories.
Tell your story. Tell stories in your way. That's part of the passion. And there's a lot of ways to do that as an actor. And there's a lot of actors that make a good living that don't involve them being a star of a television show. So when I say the 10 years, it's more like you can make a living as an actor in those 10 years just fine. But if you're thinking, hey, I should be on my way or not, within 10 years, you should probably have a couple of credits that can give you more of an opportunity, more of a likelihood to go in that direction of television, film, those statuses. So cherish the time that if it's going to take you some time to do that, cherish that. If you're older, don't worry about not being young and pretty. There's plenty of young and pretty people, and there's so many roles for people that are older and mature. And lean into a couple things. Lean into what your past life was. So many roles out there are about where you came from in your career, in your life. Maybe you grew up and you sold insurance in a small town for years. You made a living doing that. Now you're in LA. That's great, actually. There's a lot of need for people that have that kind of life experience. So lean into your past. That can be very helpful, but also because you've had such a long life with this, again, variety of experiences to pull from, you have a more diverse way of opening up and showing yourself in different ways. So you can expand who you normally would be as a person. And think of a lot of actors that started out in different jobs. Alan Rickman was like a graphic designer, and the first thing I saw him on was Die Hard, but he's gone on to make amazing films and be an amazing actor, God rest his soul. But you can start from something else and develop and grow out of that. Myself, as an engineer, one of the reasons I chose acting was because even though as a kid, I wanted to be an engineer, I wanted to be a scientist, I wanted to work in the space industry, which I did all that. But I know that doing that, the big part of me was I was in a lab on a Saturday at 1 a.m. figuring out a formula or program for something we're trying to solve for work, which I was happy doing, but that was where my existence was. And I knew that part of me wanted to show more, live life in a more full way for me. And so that's part of my decision of why I chose being an actor. So whatever your reasoning is, realize that there's going to be room for you no matter what age you are. Don't think that because you're a certain age that it's too late.
Yeah,
you know what
it's never too early. It's never too late. This is a business of telling stories and expressing life and bringing life to life and bringing life to the screen. And there are people of all ages in life. I mean, look at Betty White. She was working till literally her last, until she went on to her next part of her journey. And I mean, what an amazing thing to do what you love throughout your entire life. So
right.
It's never too late to do what you love and become good at it. And don't worry, well, I don't know, I don't have the skills, or I'm at the end of my, what do you call it? The bottom of the bucket kind of, everybody else knows more than me. Well, get in classes and learn,
right.
Surround yourself with people that know more than you and learn that. Don't be intimidated, be a sponge and learn.
Right. Never be afraid to learn. And as far as, I think you mentioned competition earlier, worrying about other people being ahead of you. Look at it this way. Say you're older in life. You're like, I'm too old. I'll be in the same room with Ed Asner for roles. And I don't want to be competing with these old veteran actors. That's going to be ridiculous. I'll never get a job. Trust me, you're not going to be competing with those people in a room. You don't have the experience yet, but there are plenty of acting jobs that are there for you with little experience, smaller parts,
Mhm.
but are your level, your age level. There's plenty. So never think there's no work for you. There is work for you. You just have to get the training, and you have to have the motivation and the mindset to go out there and do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What else would you like to tell our viewers? What else should they know this week?
Let's see. This week, I would say, we did a wonderful workshop just last weekend. That we talked to some wonderful people. Some other actors were on a panel that are older, and it's just amazing how the community is. That's another thing about this. It's a wonderful community. So if you're coming from another background, another discipline, another world, realize that this is not just, it's not a cutthroat industry, really. It's the acting community. Once you find your niche, your classes, your people, it's really wonderful experience.
And if you find that it's not, then you're not hanging out with the right people, because we have some of the most amazing actor friends, industry friends, most amazing friends we've ever had in our life in any area. And I mean, I'm talking about people that would do anything for us. And that's not the reputation that Hollywood has. So if you find yourself that actors aren't supportive and aren't helping, then you need to remove yourself from those classes and go find other classes where you can build strong relationships. Because what I have found is the acting community is a very strong, supportive, everybody, whenever any of our friends book something, we all cheer and support them. If they get auditions, there's been many of times that you've had friends in the same room as you, competing for the same, and we're just as thrilled if one of our friends book it as if you book it.
I've met several friends that way.
Yeah, I mean, you have several friends that you've literally met in the room because you end up auditioning. And now I know in the room is a Zoom room, but it used to be in a physical room.
Yes. But even in Zoom room, sometimes you can see other people. But yes, that's one of the great things about this is just the community itself.
Absolutely. So don't be intimidated. Jump out and follow your heart. Have fun. Did we cover it all?
I think we did. I
think we gave them a good podcast.
Follow your dreams, no matter how old you are.
Follow Merrick on the real Merrick McCartha on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And you're really active on Facebook, of course. I'll have all of his links down below. Follow me everywhere at Headshots by Peggy. And remember, sharing is caring. We've just been a podcast now for a few months, and apparently having podcast followers is really important. So wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, go find Headshots by Peggy Presents and follow us. It really means a lot. But share this with anybody that you think could use this. And I will see you next week. So most importantly, have a great week. I'll see you next week, guys.
Text or call today so that we can get you effective headshots that you can use as part of your marketing strategy. Headshots by Peggy, how can I help you?